Hi, before I start showing you my picks for the best and worst of 2018, let's talk about 2018 in general for the beauty industry, what it has been like. This has been one of the most controversial and dramatic years where the beauty industry is concerned. We've had a lot of truths, a lot of revelations, a lot of people throwing shade at each other, brands throwing shade at each other, people throwing shade at brands, brands throwing shade at people. Loads of airing of dirty laundry in public. I mean, can we not just talk about, how much we love makeup and why we're here for that? I'm here for that reason. Not, how many PR samples somebody got, how many PR samples somebody else did not get, how many brands, had influencer trips, how many people went on a vacay to the Bahamas and, so on and so forth. And, there's been so much drama, so much shade, so much revelations. So it hasn't been a very pleasant and, feel-good year in general. And, maybe I'm being an ostrich here, but life is already, there's plenty of unpleasantness out there in the newspapers. And, this should be our, pleasant place. This should be the pretty place. Makeup and beauty should be all about beauty and not, throwing shade at each other. So we need to be more positive in the beauty industry. So apart from that, we've seen too many palettes, really. I mean, there's been palette saturation, definitely. I did an anti-haul list at the beginning of the year. You can see that here and in the description box below. I wanted to make another anti-haul list for the, second part of the year. And then it turned out that all I had were about 50 eyeshadow palettes, so I gave up the idea. Urban Decay and Too Faced have had around 9 or 10 palettes a piece, so that's 20 palettes right there. And, you've seen them all. The color scheme has been, those reddish, coppery, warm, rosy neutrals throughout. A palette that was touted as being purple was launched, and it contained about 3 purple shades and everything else was neutral. So that has been another letdown. And despite ultraviolet being the Pantone color of 2018, we haven't had many purple palettes this year, have we? We've had the Huda Amethyst. So that looks like this. I reviewed it, as I told you. Apart from this one, I can't really think of any proper purple palettes that we've had launched in 2018, despite the color of the year being ultraviolet, which is quite surprising, really. In the latter half of the year, though, we've seen some difference. We've seen Melt Cosmetics' new green palette that's coming out. We've seen the Huda Emerald, Sapphire, Amethyst, and so on, the gems, the Precious Stones Obsessions palettes. So hopefully we're seeing a new face in eyeshadow palettes with different textures as well. I mean, the Huda New Nude palette, which I've reviewed here, had those multi-reflective chromatic shades. And we've seen some fabulous duochromes and multi-chromes. Beauty Bakery's Grand Palette had that. I don't have it, sadly. Went away before I found out it existed. So hopefully we're seeing a new trend, different textures, different color schemes and so on, where eyeshadow palettes are concerned. About time somebody innovated. There haven't been too many lipstick collections. There have been some lip lacquers and lip glosses, but not very inspiring or exciting lipstick collections, which is probably why by the time we get to my favorite lipsticks of this year, you'll find that it's a very meh post, because there haven't been that many exciting lipstick launches this year. There were last year, not as many this year. We have, however, continued to see a lot of highlighters in the market. I mean, highlighters are proving to be, to this decade, what blue eyeshadow and blue eyeliner was to the 1980s. That's how it's been. Lots and lots of highlighters, and I really don't know if that trend is going to go away. I know matte skin is going to make a comeback, is supposed to be making a comeback, rather. I don't know, though, if the, younger generation particularly will give up their highlighter very easily. I, for one, would be glad to see highlighters go away, because I have a lot of texture, a lot of pores. So while I love highlighters, I think they're very pretty. I can only pull them off properly if I have smoother skin. So I'm resuming acne scar revision procedures from the first week of December. So hopefully there will be a change and I can wear my highlighters. Foundation-wise, it hasn't been very inspiring either. We've had some collections. Colourpop had a nice set of foundations. Jeffree Star is going to release his foundations collection. I don't really know much about that. Some brands have continued to have very few shades, not much inclusivity there. Other brands, very good trend there, have increased the number of shades, have become more inclusive, which is a good trend. And I hope that trend continues. Meanwhile, Stila proceeded to use just the one model to swatch all their eye makeup looks, which was, again, a very weird controversy. I mean, they've been around for a very long time, and they're a brand that they've been, a rather quieter brand, and I quite like that, not in your face and not dramatic and all over the place, I liked that about them, but this was a huge letdown from them. So that was I don't know, it's not funny, but, it's a, they actually did that moment, isn't it? And in skincare, oh dear God, where do I start? The Ordinary's drama. All that dirty laundry, dreadful. It has been, if makeup was dramatic, then skincare was, I don't know, I don't even have a word for it. It was a soap opera in itself. There was first, The Ordinary's massive drama. People were being accused of criminal activity, airing dirty laundry in public. Some people were told to stay safe. And, all that sort of thing. Massive drama. And private information was made public, people's medical history, medical conditions, and, customers who asked the brand's representative or owner or whatever how they were told to use lightening products and so on. And there's been massive drama there. And I no longer support The Ordinary. I have done a video on 6 products that I disliked, and I promise you a follow-up video on products that did work for me, and I never delivered on that promise. It is coming, I promise you, a whole sort of summation of The Ordinary and what products I liked, what I disliked, and alternatives. It is coming. It may be 2019 though, because we've got a lot of posts to get out of the way in 2018. Meanwhile, Sunday Riley had some revelations as well. There was a leakage of an email asking people to post positive reviews, asking staff in particular to post positive reviews across retailer websites. So that was another huge deal. I mean, everybody sort of suspected that was the case, but, a blatant in-your-face order via email from a brand's, top management level, that wasn't, very expected. And another brand threw shade promptly, saying this was the consequences of Sunday Riley's actions, which didn't go very well with the skincare junkie fraternity either, because, that's, again, throwing shade. So thankfully, there are plenty of skincare brands that don't throw any shade, that aren't involved in any of the drama, are quietly doing their job, are delivering on proper skincare that works. And those are the brands that I'm going to be supporting. Now, the positivity in skincare is that after, The Ordinary's controversy, we've seen a couple of brands launch some very, very affordable lines of actives, just like The Ordinary's. In Key List is one of them. And Makeup Revolution had another, their own skincare range. Again, very affordable products, actives as well. Ones that are targeting certain problems rather than, general serum, anti-aging, and so on and so forth. Products that might appeal to the skin intellectuals, as it were. So I think skincare is also becoming more and more K-beauty inspired and more affordable, which is a good thing. And, you find fewer of those thick creams, moisturizing creams, and more of, light layers, which is what I like. So, and we've also seen blatant rip-offs as well. L'Oreal now is suing the famous Consequences brand for patent infringement and copyright violation. And we've also seen Aldi, that is UK-based supermarket, blatantly ripping off a number of brands' products, iconic products, no less. Pixie Glow Tonic, Charlotte Tilbury's bronzer, and the Benefit Hoola bronzer, and plenty of other products. They've just blatantly ripped off the packaging and the concept. Makeup Revolution used to be famous for dupes. They have come into their own, and that has been, for me, the success story of 2018. They've had products that have been original and really come a long way. And they were known for their eyeshadow quality, and now I think the foundation quality is right up there. The eyeliners are right up there. The highlighters, the face powders, right up there. So they've really, and the beautiful lipsticks. So I reviewed the Revolution Pro Supreme Matte Lip Pigments. Very, very lovely. I know the packaging is very similar to the NARS Part Matte Lip Pigments, but the formula is very different. And actually, I prefer these to the Part Matte Lip Pigments, because the Part Matte Lip Pigments transfer, these don't transfer. And nor are they dreadfully drying. So that's a very good thing. And they have sort of started releasing more and more original products rather than a lot of dupes, which is a positive thing amid all this. We've seen some fun launches and some innovations and some newness. We've seen the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, which is sort of piggybacking upon the Instagram filter trend, but very innovative product there. I think it's a liquid version of the famous Hourglass Ambient Veil powders. And then we've got lip powders by mainstream brands. It used to be a K-beauty trend, and By Terry has launched a lip powder essence earlier this year, which I have reviewed here. We've also seen multi-reflective chromatic eyeshadows in the Huda Beauty New Nude palette, as I talked about. We've also seen some lovely collaborations. We've seen Smashbox Vlada, we've seen Becca and Chrissy Teigen, we've seen the Karl Lagerfeld and Model Co. It's reviewed over here. It's not, the products did not impress, I'll be very, very honest. And you might want to look out for those in my upcoming products I disliked this year post. So Gigi Hadid had a collab with Maybelline, and Colourpop had collabs with Disney and Kathleen Lights, influencer Kathleen Lights. Padma Lakshmi, apparently she's a very, 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 very distant relative of my grandmother's, had a collab with MAC. So distant that, my gran knows exactly how it works. Apparently she's my great-granddad's brother's granddaughter, which isn't actually that distant if you think about it. So she is my grandfather's brother's granddaughter, or something of the sort. Anyway, I've never seen her in my life, probably never will. But the moment some of my classmates at uni found out, people were buying me drinks and, trying to, get all cozy with me in the hopes that I'd introduce them to her. I've never seen her in my life. So Makeup Revolution had some lovely collabs as well. And my favorite was the collab with Makeup by Tammy, YouTuber Makeup by Tammy. She's a woman of color. And the reason I'm stating that is very simple. This palette can be used. Has shades that will suit pretty much every tone under the sun. That is what Tammy wanted, and I think she's achieved that. So I've reviewed that palette over here. So the future, what does 2019 hold for the beauty industry? I really don't see the drama going anywhere, unfortunately. I don't see the controversies lessening. Because first of all, it's a lot of clickbait for influencers, which is a good thing for them. And, where brands are concerned, there is no such thing as bad publicity. That's always something that's bandied about in PR fields. So they'll be happy with that as well. So I really don't see the controversies and the drama and the unpleasantness getting any less. And now, everything is sort of more transparent, or there is scope for greater transparency. There's greater scope for leakage. There's so much social media and instantly breaking news and that sort of thing. So I really don't think we're going to have fewer revelations. We're going to have a lot more revelations. So stay tuned for that in 2019. There will be more leakages in 2019 as well, because the internet is not a place where you can get a lot of privacy. I also hope that because of greater revelations and increased transparency thanks to the internet, brands don't hire one model and get them to swatch all the shades and change the skin color of the model via Photoshop. I hope that sort of thing doesn't happen in future. What's wrong with hiring more models in? Lipstick wise, I would love to see more, innovation like the lip powder from By Terry, and more, more exciting collections. We haven't had very exciting ones this year. I think Bobbi Brown's Luxe Matte collection it's a very recent launch. I have 2 of those on the way, so stay tuned for that. I think that's a very exciting collection from other reviews. I don't know how they perform. I have no idea. I don't want to, assume and say, oh, this is marvelous. It may bomb badly on me, so I don't know. I'd like to see more affordable skincare inspired by K-beauty, more light layering, more active targeted skincare rather than, general anti-aging serum, blah, 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 and so on. So hopefully all that will be there in 2019. The highlighter trend is not going to go anywhere. I've quite reconciled myself to that. So, I think as long as Instagram exists, it's not going to go anywhere. That said, I would like to see, lighter formula in foundations. Lightweight, that is, not light coverage. I don't mean that at all. I need all the coverage I can get. I've got acne scars. So full coverage, but lighter formulation, such as the Giorgio Armani Par Fabric foundation. That is the sort of benchmark there. Very lightweight formula and looks and feels just like skin, but provides very good coverage. So I don't know why more brands haven't, opted for that formula instead of this very thick, full cover foundations that we keep seeing, the filter foundations as they're called, and a lot of them give demi-matte to matte coverage. Matte for those with drier and normal skin, and demi-matte for oily skinned people. So that's a coverage they give. Full coverage, thick viscous foundations. Why aren't there more, Armani Par Fabric type foundations? I'd like to see more of that. So in 2019, hopefully. maybe fewer highlighters and more, I mean, the hourglass ambient lighting powders and to a lesser extent the Guerlain meteorites have been the only powder formulations that blur or soften texture and other flaws on the face. So I'd like to see more brands do things like that, rather than more and more warm neutral palettes and highlighters on and on and on. So that's my very short roundup of 2018 in makeup, what it has been like for the beauty industry in general. I will be having an upcoming series of about 4 or 5 videos of my favorites and dislikes of 2018, so stay tuned for this. So that's all from me for today. Thank you for watching this video. Please do give me a thumbs up and please do hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell, and I'll speak to you soon.